Right now, millions of older adults are living with a liver that is getting slower and more sluggish without even realizing it. What many people do not realize is that the liver does not usually send out pain signals early on. It quietly loses strength, quietly stores more fat, and quietly makes your body feel heavier day after day. And by the time you start noticing that your stomach feels bloated more easily, you feel more tired after meals, your mind feels foggier, and your clothes feel tighter around the waist, that liver may have already been carrying too much strain for far too long. Here is the part that catches many people off guard. The liver can lose a significant amount of function before it shows any clear outward warning signs. In other words, you may think you are simply aging normally, while inside your body, the system responsible for handling fat, filtering toxins, and keeping your energy steady is slowing down a little more each day. And once fat begins to build up in the liver, the effects do not stop at weight gain. You may start feeling more sluggish in the afternoon, wake up tired even after sleeping, eat only a little, yet still feel heavy and uncomfortable, and notice that the sense of vitality you used to have seems to be drifting farther away. But this is what most people have never had properly explained to them. Fatty liver is not just about alcohol or body weight. In many people over 60, it is also tied to the way the body handles sugar, fat, inflammation, and energy every single day. The good news is that the liver is one of the few organs with a truly remarkable ability to repair itself when you give it what it needs. In this video, I am going to walk you through 6 of the most noteworthy foods and drinks that may help your liver handle fat more effectively, reduce the burden of inflammation, and help your body feel lighter, clearer, and more resilient again. But stay with me until the end, because the number 1 item on this list is something very familiar in many kitchens, and most people have never imagined that it could make such a meaningful difference. Many people think fatty liver is just one extra line on a lab report. But after age 60, it is often not that simple, because once fat starts building up in the liver no longer handles its job as smoothly as it used to. It processes fat more slowly. It responds to sugar less effectively. Filtering out excess substances also becomes more difficult, and the dangerous part is that this process happens very quietly. You do not suddenly collapse. You just feel yourself declining little by little. At first, it may only show up as feeling more tired after meals, getting bloated more easily, feeling more drained in the afternoon, noticing that your waist feels thicker even though you are not eating that much more. Then gradually, your sleep gets worse, your body feels heavier, and your ability to recover after a tiring day is not what it used to be. The reason is that after 60, the body has already changed. Muscle mass gradually declines. Physical activity is often lower. Insulin sensitivity is not as strong as before. And when those changes happen alongside fatty liver, the body is almost being slowed down from several directions at once. You eat the same amount as before, but gain fat more easily. You rest, but still do not feel fully restored. You try harder, but your energy does not come back the way you want it to. And this is not just a feeling. Fatty liver is also closely linked to ongoing low-grade inflammation, blood sugar imbalance, increased visceral fat, and metabolic syndrome. Put simply, when the liver starts becoming overloaded, the whole body starts paying the price. Not just your waistline, but also your energy, your mental clarity, and your sense of well-being day after day. But the good news is that the liver is not an organ that has to keep suffering forever. When you reduce the burden on it and give it the right beneficial foods, the liver can begin working more efficiently again. And that is exactly why the next 6 choices are worth paying close attention to. Number 6. Dandelion Greens with lemon. If you have ever heard someone talk about a liver cleanse, there is a good chance dandelion greens were one of the first foods mentioned. They are not new, they are not flashy, and they are not the kind of food that makes you feel dramatically different overnight. But that does not mean they have no value. What makes dandelion greens interesting is this. They are a naturally bitter leafy green, and that bitterness may be something older bodies need more than most people realize. When you eat bitter greens like these, digestion tends to be stimulated more effectively. Bile flow may also be better supported, and bile is a very important part of how the body handles fat. When bile flow becomes sluggish, the liver has to work harder, and the body is more likely to feel slow, heavy, and weighed down after eating. That is why dandelion greens should not be seen as a powerful weapon that quickly reverses fatty liver. Their real role is much more practical than that. They are more like a supportive foundation, a small habit that may help the digestive system and the liver feel less sluggish over time, especially in people who do not eat many greens, eat a lot of processed foods, or have entered their 60s and started noticing that their body reacts more slowly to meals. The lemon in this combination is not there just for appearance. A little fresh lemon juice makes these bitter greens easier to eat, easier to enjoy, and also leaves you with a fresher, lighter feeling after the meal. For many people, it is a simple way to turn a food that is not naturally appealing into something they can keep eating a few times a week without getting tired of it. If you are looking for a food that will make your stomach feel noticeably lighter, quickly change your energy, or create a stronger sense of difference, dandelion greens are probably not the top contender. They are better suited for people who want to start with something gentle, safe, and natural. Especially those who are more sensitive, have a stomach that is not as strong as it used to be, or do not tolerate stronger options like raw garlic or concentrated turmeric very well. The simplest way to use dandelion greens is as a small salad with a little lemon juice and a bit of olive oil. It does not need to be a large amount. It just needs to be consistent. Because for the liver after age 60, what creates real change is often not one dramatic push, but small forms of support repeated long enough to matter. Number 5. Beetroot with ginger. If there is one food that looks vibrant just by its appearance, it is beetroot. Its deep red color is not only eye-catching. It comes from plant compounds called betalains, a group of pigments that have been studied for their antioxidant properties and their potential role in supporting inflammation control. For a liver that is working hard every day to process fat, sugar, and excess waste, that is a meaningful advantage. What makes beetroot interesting is that it does not work in an overly strong or aggressive way. It is not like raw garlic. It does not give you that feeling of, you know it is working the moment you take it. But in older adults, sometimes what the body needs is not a harsh push. It is a form of support that is steady, clean, and sustainable. That is the direction beetroot takes. With fatty liver, the problem is not just the fat itself. It also comes with oxidative stress, low-grade inflammation, and the feeling that the body is slowing down. You feel heavier after eating. You get tired more quickly. You finish a meal and do not feel like doing much afterward. Beetroot does not magically solve all of that, but it can become a smart part of your diet that helps the body's metabolic environment feel a little easier to manage over time. Ginger is a very thoughtful addition here. It helps keep the mixture from tasting too earthy or heavy. But more importantly, ginger offers something many people over 60 truly appreciate: a warming, lighter, more comfortable feeling after eating. Many people do not describe it in scientific terms. They simply say this: it makes them feel more awake, less sluggish, and more like their body is cooperating again. And for an older audience, those small but noticeable shifts in how the body feels are often what make a habit easier to stick with. Beetroot with ginger is a good choice, but it is not the strongest star on this list. It is best for people who want something easy to begin with, fairly easy to tolerate, and suitable as part of a morning or midday routine. It works even better when paired with an eating pattern that includes less sugar, fewer processed foods, and lighter meals overall. The simplest way to use it is to blend or juice a moderate amount of beetroot with a little fresh ginger. There is no need to add too many ingredients. There is no need to turn it into some super formula drink. The simpler it is, the easier it is to keep doing. There are two small things to keep in mind. First, beetroot can turn your urine or stool a pinkish or reddish color. That is usually not something to worry about. Second, if you have a history of kidney stones, especially oxalate stones, it is wise to be more cautious about using it regularly. Number 4. Raw garlic. It is sharp, it is pungent, it is not easy to take first thing in the morning, and yes, your breath probably will not appreciate it either. But when it comes to helping the body deal with oxidative stress and metabolic burden, garlic is one of those foods that is very hard to ignore. What makes garlic special is its natural sulfur compounds. When you crush a clove of garlic and let it sit for a few minutes, a series of reactions takes place, producing more biologically active compounds, the most notable being allicin. That is why raw garlic is often mentioned more than cooked garlic when people talk about stronger biological effects. Put simply, the way you prepare garlic makes a big difference in whether it stays just a seasoning or truly becomes part of a health-supporting routine. For the liver after age 60, this matters because the liver does not just need to burn fat better. It also needs protection from low-grade inflammation, from the strain of unstable blood sugar, and from the small cellular damage that can build up over time. Garlic is not medicine, but it is a food with a very active, direct character. It is not gentle. It is not subtle. It is the kind of support that makes you feel like you are actually doing something meaningful for your body, and this is something many older adults will immediately understand. There are healthy foods you never stick with because they are too complicated. Garlic is the opposite. It is so simple that there is almost no reason to put it off. 1 small clove. Crush it. Wait a few minutes. Take it with warm water, or add a little lemon if you want it to go down more easily. No fuss, not expensive, no special shopping required. For people with a sensitive stomach, raw garlic can cause burning, discomfort, or irritation. And if you are taking blood thinners, regular use is not something to take lightly. And if your body does not respond well to it, do not force it. A healthy food that makes you feel uncomfortable every day will never become a sustainable habit. Number 3. Turmeric with black pepper. Many people have kept turmeric in their kitchen for years, but only think about it when their joints hurt, their stomach feels off, or they want to add a richer color to a dish. Few people stop to consider that this familiar spice may actually be closely connected to how the liver handles inflammation and oxidative stress day after day. What matters here is that once fat starts building up in the liver, the problem is not just the fat itself. What often causes the body to decline faster is everything that comes with it: ongoing low-grade inflammation, increased oxidative activity, and liver cells being placed under constant stress. And if that continues long enough, you do not just feel heavier around the middle, you also feel slower, more tired, less mentally sharp, and less able to recover at the end of each day. Turmeric is included here mainly because of curcumin, its most well-known active compound. Curcumin has been studied quite extensively for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Put simply, it does not force the liver to work harder. It helps make the internal environment less strained. And when the burden of inflammation goes down, the liver has a better chance to function more steadily, more lightly, and more efficiently over time. But here is the part many people overlook. Turmeric on its own may not do very much if your body does not absorb it well. That is exactly why black pepper appears on this list alongside turmeric instead of separately. Piperine in black pepper can significantly improve curcumin absorption. In other words, if turmeric is the key, black pepper is what helps it actually fit the lock. When you use the two together, the effect becomes much more meaningful. That is also why I place turmeric with black pepper at number 3. Its strength is that it has both a clear mechanism and real-world practicality. It is not as difficult to use as raw garlic. It is not as mild as some of the lower-ranked options. It offers a deeper kind of support. It is especially well suited for older adults who feel that their body is not just heavy, but almost quietly inflamed from the inside. Eating only a little, yet still feeling tired, sleeping but waking up sluggish, and going through each day with the sense that something is holding their energy back. It does not have to be complicated to use. A little turmeric mixed into warm water with a pinch of black pepper works. Adding it to everyday meals works too. The important part is not creating some elaborate recipe. The important part is using it consistently in the way your body tolerates best. Of course, this is not the right choice for everyone. If you have gallbladder issues, a very sensitive stomach, or you are taking blood thinners, you should be more cautious. But for many people, this is one of the smartest ways to begin supporting the liver in a more sustainable direction. Number 2. Cruciferous Greens with extra virgin olive oil. Some foods sound excellent in theory, but are hard to maintain in real life. And then there are choices that are both powerful enough and practical enough that if you start today, your body may still be thanking you months from now. Cruciferous Greens with extra virgin olive oil belong in that category. When people talk about fatty liver, many only think about some drink they should have in the morning. But the liver does not recover because of one moment. The liver recovers through meals that do not force it to struggle, and that is exactly why Cruciferous Greens rank so high on this list. This group includes foods like arugula, baby kale, broccoli sprouts, watercress, and young broccoli. What they have in common is that they contain plant compounds associated with the body's ability to handle waste, fight oxidative stress, and support metabolic balance. Put simply, these are not just greens that make your plate look better. They actually send helpful signals into the body, especially when the liver is already dealing with too much every day. But what makes this choice even stronger is not just the greens themselves. It is the combination with extra virgin olive oil. Many people do eat vegetables, but they eat them in a dry, half-hearted way, just to say they did. Then they wonder why their body does not feel any different. A little high-quality olive oil does more than make greens easier to eat. It also provides healthy fats and polyphenol compounds that support heart health, inflammation balance, and overall metabolic well-being. And for older adults, that matters a great deal. Because when you choose the right kind of fat, you are not just reducing pressure on the liver, you are helping the whole body run more smoothly. This is also the point many people need to hear clearly. The liver does not just need a cleanse, it needs an eating pattern that keeps blood sugar more stable, lowers inflammation, and helps prevent visceral fat from continuing to build up. Cruciferous Greens with olive oil do that far better than short-term tricks. They do not feel dramatic, but they create a foundation. And after 60, the things that help you hold on to energy over time are usually foundations, not quick surges that disappear after 2 days. A plate of arugula with olive oil before your main meal. A serving of lightly steamed cruciferous greens added to lunch. A handful of sprouts in your evening salad. These things sound simple, but repeated consistently, they can change the way your body responds to food day after day. Number 1. Black coffee. This is probably the most surprising name on this list for many people. Not because it is unusual, but because it is so familiar. So familiar, in fact, that few people ever stop to think that such an ordinary daily habit could be so closely connected to liver health. And that is exactly what makes black coffee so special. Many observational studies over the years have shown that people who drink coffee in moderation often have more favorable liver health markers than those who do not drink it or drink very little. What is especially interesting is that this benefit has not been discussed in just one area. It has been linked to liver enzymes, inflammation, and even the risk of liver disease progressing over time. Put simply, coffee does not just help you feel more alert in the morning. It may also be part of a lifestyle that helps the liver carry less of a burden. The reason lies in coffee's natural compounds, especially polyphenols and several other biologically active substances. These compounds are believed to be associated with antioxidant activity, healthier inflammatory responses, and a better ability to help the body handle metabolic stress. And for people over 60, that matters a great deal, because at this stage, the body does not just need more energy. It needs less inflammation, less overload, fewer silent pressures building up day after day. But one thing needs to be said very clearly. Here, I am talking about black coffee, not coffee loaded with sweet cream, syrup, sugar, and toppings. Those extras can turn a good choice into a new burden on the liver and on metabolism. Coffee is only truly helpful when it stays simple enough to preserve what makes it beneficial in the first place. And that is exactly why this choice is ranked number 1. Not because it is powerful in a dramatic or shocking way, but because it brings together 3 things that are actually quite rare. A solid basis behind it, enough practicality to sustain over the long term, and enough familiarity that many people can begin almost immediately. One small habit. One properly prepared cup of black coffee. Sometimes what the liver needs is not something overly complicated. It is simply the right choice, repeated consistently day after day. And now that you know all 6 choices, the most important question is this: where should you begin if you want your body to truly feel the difference? At this point, what matters most is no longer knowing which item ranked number 1 or number 6. What matters is whether you can turn this list into something simple enough to actually follow. Because the liver does not recover from one good day of eating. The liver changes when you reduce its burden over and over again, long enough for that change to matter. The good news is that you do not need to use all 6 items every day. In fact, doing that may only overwhelm you and make you give up sooner. A smarter approach is to build a foundation. In the morning, start with one main choice. That could be a cup of black coffee if your body responds well to it, or a glass of beetroot with ginger if you want something gentler and rich in antioxidants. Just one choice. Do not try to do everything at once. At lunch or dinner, add a serving of Cruciferous Greens with extra virgin olive oil. This is a very valuable foundation because it does not just support the liver. It also makes the meal cleaner, lighter, and more stable for both blood sugar and energy. Then, 3 to 4 times a week, you can rotate in turmeric with black pepper or raw garlic if your body tolerates them well. This is your stronger support layer. You do not need to force yourself to use them every day. You just need to be consistent and use them in the right amount. And what about dandelion greens? Think of them as a lighter extra. A small salad, a simpler meal, a way to give your body more bitter greens without making it feel like too much. The principle is very simple. One foundational choice each morning, one supportive food in a main meal, and one stronger support a few times a week. It is this consistency that creates the difference, not a magical formula. Not one highly motivated week followed by quitting, but choices simple enough to let your liver breathe a little easier each day. And when that happens long enough, your body will begin to answer in very clear ways. A lighter stomach, steadier energy, and less of that heavy feeling that used to stay with you all day. In the end, what the liver needs is not oversized promises. It needs the right choices, simple enough to follow, and repeated long enough for the body to truly have time to change. After 60, many people accept feeling heavy, tired after meals, easily bloated, and lower in energy as just a natural part of aging. But that is not always the full story. Very often, these are signs that your liver has been working under too much strain for too long. And the good news is that when you begin reducing that burden with the right foods, your body may respond faster than you think. You do not need to do everything at once. Just begin with one small change this week. One properly prepared cup of black coffee. One serving of Cruciferous Greens with olive oil. A little turmeric with black pepper. One small choice. done consistently. And here is what I would like you to try. Over the next 14 days, choose at least 2 items from today's list and work them into your daily routine, or rotate them throughout the week. Then, pay attention to what changes first. Does your stomach feel lighter? Do you feel less sluggish in the afternoon? Or do you wake up feeling less heavy and drained? If you already know which one you want to start with, write it in the comments. And after 14 days, come back and let me know how your body feels. Your experience might be exactly what encourages someone else to begin. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to the channel so we can keep taking care of your health in a way that is simple, sustainable, and truly worth doing.